Hello and welcome back to another live trade video from Day Trading Forex Live. This is Chad, and I just wanted to point out this trade that I just entered here roughly about 35-40 minutes ago. On this candle right here, at this point what we got running is, we're pulling out of a third push chop on the euro, and we've made pretty much a first push to the upside as far as this goes. However, we've blown out the average daily range during the Asian session, and the market rarely does this without some sort of a pullback. This is definitely on the US election news that Obama won, Bernanke's got a free rein to print, so it's going to create some dollar weakness as far as that goes. But we are starting to get our candle patterns, our trapping candle patterns, even in the Asian session. So at this point, just waited for something else to be going on showing the same thing during the London session, and then we go ahead and take the trade on a bit of a pullback. I got in on this candle right here, right at the highs of that particular candle there at about 10 minutes into that, around 9:10 I believe my order was. So now we're just going to sit here, and I got my stop in the market already up there. It's above the 200 hourly 200 EMA, pretty well protected at this point. If we do end up seeing we got 4 minutes left of this candle, if this thing does pop up and close above these highs, I'm just going to close this thing out, but I don't really think it's going to do that. So we'll go ahead and pause the video, wait and see what happens, and we'll be back when it gets interesting. Okay, things have gotten interesting here, and we've done pushed off 25 pips, probably a little bit more than that, and I've moved my stop to break even at this point. So we're just going to sit here. Geez, we've gone off 35 pips. Moved my stop to break even at right around 25. So it just took me a few minutes to get the darn video going. Anyway, we'll just let this thing play out. I left my take profit out of the market mainly because we got some news coming up from Greece as to the vote on the austerity, and if that does come out negative, this thing is going to drop like a stone. There is a pretty good chance, well, there is a chance that they've gotten their stuff together and convinced some people to agree to it, to get the vote passed, just to get their next pile of money from the Troika, but you never know. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this thing run, and we'll see how she goes. Update you later on when it gets, probably when the vote comes around. I think it's supposed to be in the next hour or two, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, things have gotten actually pretty darn interesting to this point. At this time, we're up in the neighborhood of 105 pips, and the Greek vote hasn't come out yet. So at this point, we're looking at price action, and we got 5 minutes left of this candle. If it does close above these daily lows, I'm just going to go ahead and close out this trade and take the money and run as far as it goes at this point. There is still potential that we could see the vote push it off, but we are seeing some volume come in to stop it from going below this point. Blown out the ADR to the high and then again to the low, so it's a little bit dicey. So at this point it's better to, unless we see something that shows us that it's definitely going to keep on going and not definitely, but probably going to go in our direction, which would be that close. I would expect it at this point, if it does close below that level, and I want it to see, a good 5 to 10 pips below that level, close in the next 4 minutes. At that point, I would expect, a possible test up into the ADR, Asian lows, and then the push off to the downside, and I would hold for that. Just move my stop up into the 128.05 level, above a psychological level, and protecting a good chunk of my profit. So at this point, we're just going to wait the 4 minutes, see where it goes, and or see where it closes, and then go from there. You know, I'll start this thing back up if I end up closing this trade. Okay guys, actually we did get our hourly close below the level. However, it's, oh geez, 2 pips. I would be a lot more convinced if it was a bit more than that. So at this point I'm just going to go ahead and close this trade. Going to take the, oh geez, what is that, 106 pips. At this point it's not worth risking the retracement of this inefficient move. So I'm just going to go ahead and close it and take the money and run at this point. We got well over, well, just over 5-to-1 my risk. And there we go, close it out. So, as you know from earlier, you know, we took this trade on number one. This push up during Asia was being news driven. We had a pin here, a second pin there, and then when the this wasn't the London market, however, it was the European market open. We did have the trap move to the downside right here. Got the push up. Then this is not a particular pretty hammer. However, we did get the reversal leg to the downside. Anytime we see small spread candles, usually we like to see a doji spinning top or an inverted hammer, which would be the pin to the upside. They're a bit better. I figured at this point it was worth the risk. I only had 6 pips to the highs. Stop well protected above the 200 EMA up here. And this is the 200 from the hourly chart, not just the 15. Did get a better opportunity for an entry a couple candles later, but it was a darn good trade, obviously. And now we're, you know, it's heading off without me, so we'll see how this goes. I mean, if it does keep on going, just like the last trade, it ran off another 75 pips after my 75 pip trade. But that's cool. It happens. So, in all reality, darn good trade. Made good money on it. So we'll go ahead and bring this video to a close. If you guys want more information on how to trade with the banks, you can go to daytradingforexlive.com, and we will see you there. Take care.